I'm in Wangige Market and I'm just leaving town, and my destination today is just a small town in the neighborhood. Very small but quite popular. You must have heard it, especially if you're not new in Nairobi area. It has quite a shaky history. In fact, I saw this article by the Standard and it got me scared. But I decided I want to see it for myself, whether the small town is worth its salt. You know, sometimes the media has a way of reporting. But worry not, we'll be getting there in less than a minute. I will also be visiting another pretty old town, the real Kabete shopping center. I will also be showing you one of the few children's prisons in the country, which is also in the area. And as you can see, I'm leaving the Nairobi Western Bypass, and our first town is just a few yards from here. But before we get there, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. We are still continuing with our Kiambu series, and eventually we intend to visit all the small towns in all the 47 counties across the country before we move to the next country. So we are just starting, so kindly consider subscribing so that we can visit and document every small town and village across this country together. Now back to the video, and we have gotten to our first destination. In fact, our first town is in vicinity, but it was designed about 50 meters from the tarmac, and we will be getting there shortly. But before then, let's explore this area. It goes by the name Kamutiini, and it is quite popular among people who live around this place, but it is part of the larger Kiambu area, and this place is developing fast. In fact, it is faster than our old town, and probably it's because it's along the tarmac. More investors are interested in getting plots along the main road. It is understandable. And I want to spend a few seconds exploring the interior of the area to see how people live, whether the growth is only cosmetic along the road. And as you can see, so far so good. Although these interior roads have seen better days, someone somewhere is sleeping on his job. But we can understand them for now due to the heavy rains that have been ongoing. In fact, I'm surprised that the roads are passable. You can even see the sky. It looks like it's about 6:30 in the evening, and it is only 2:30 in the evening. It might rain any time from now. And Kamutiini, for those who understand Kikuyu, the local language spoken by most people here, means the place around a small tree. It's quite a fancy name. Probably there was like a small tree along the road, but I'm not sure whether it exists now. You know, developments come with a lot of distractions. And this very road goes all the way to Nairobi City via Westlands, and it is not far from here. In fact, the Nairobi-Kiambu border is only 5 kilometers from here. We'll be getting there later, which I told you it's about 50 meters from the tarmac, and so I'll be turning right. There's a Maram road here. It is well maintained, and the town goes by the name Kiambu, and this is my first time here. I have never been to the area before, but I've been hearing the name for many years. It's a fancy name, which have all the reason to stick to your head, especially if you understand the local language, as the name translates to a place where people get their throats slit. It's quite a brutal name, which tells a lot about the history of this place. I'll be telling you more about it soon. Let's first get into the shopping center. The road is quite narrow, but we are managing. Probably it's because of encroachment, which is a common problem in these areas around Lower Kiambu and Nairobi County, since land is very scarce and extremely expensive. A plot of land measuring 40 by 80 in this area can get you more than an acre in most rural areas across the country. In fact, I saw one measuring 70 by 90 going for 15 million Kenya shillings in this area. And mind you, that is not even a quarter an acre. And so this is not your ordinary village. In fact, people here are born rich, since you can become a millionaire instantly by selling a small piece of land. But that's a story for another day, since land is not the only factor to consider when analyzing wealth. And our small town is here, and it's quite old. The buildings have seen better days. In fact, by the look of things, most of them are more than 50 years old. But the shopping center is not dead, as you have seen in most areas that you have visited. It is quite lively. Businesses are thriving. There is a local pub here. You can see it on my right. And this one-story building next looks quite old. It must be the first in the town. It seems like most people here got married long time ago. Let's face the reality. Building a permanent house more than 50 years ago was not an easy task. I can see a very nice hotel right in front. It goes by the name Signal Hotel. Seems like a nice chilling spot for the old timers, but I'm not sure whether that qualifies as a hotel. Maybe it's a cafe. Most of such small hotels sell snacks. I can bet you can get a very nice chapati and tea. And this very corner in front seems like the town center. It has a lot of activities, and also it has a lot of people. You can see that. Probably it's an alcohol joint or a mini theater where people can watch football. Such places attract a lot of men. I can also see a local butchery across the road, the old school style. I wonder who told all the butchers to paint their shop the same way. They are also designed the same. Have you ever noted that almost all the butcheries in the country are painted with red and white? Well, you can check with your local butcher, and I'm sure you will confirm it. But I'm sure the idea was generated by one person somewhere, a creative one, and everyone else copied. I want to show you a police station, which is around the corner, and it is quite popular, especially around Nairobi area, for crime busting. And it goes by the name King Aero Police Station. It is within the town, funny enough. But I wonder why the high crime rates. But maybe it's just a bad name. Here is the place. I would really want to know whether the high crime rates still persist even today. For those of you who live here or who know the place, you can assist us with the information. Because sometimes a bad name can persist for decades. In fact, that reminds me of a video I did about a place called Gachie, which is not far from here, and I have a pretty nasty name. But most people told me that it is one of the best places currently. In fact, rent and land prices have shot up pretty high. And so if you are quite familiar with King Aero's past life and the current status, you can throw a fact or two about the neighborhood on the comment section below, and we'll appreciate. And history goes that the neighborhood got its name in the 1950s during the state of emergency. And it is said that the then colonial government used to behead people by first slitting their throats. And that took place somewhere in this neighborhood, especially if you are opposed to their policy. Such a harsh punishment. And I remember most Kikuyus around here were opposed to the colonial government. Unfortunately, the bad name persisted. In fact, in the 80s, 90s, and 2000, crime rate was very high in this area. And it seems like criminals took advantage of the bad name. And I want to give you a few demographics before I leave town. And this area is in a sublocation called Lower Kabete. It is the true Kabete. And it has a population of 20,487 people. 10,616 of them were women, while 9,800 were men. There were 7,373 households, and the population density stands at 4,136 people per square kilometer. The village occupies an area of 5 kilometers squared. So this area is densely populated. You can see that from the video. And I wonder how the place will look like 30 to 50 years to come, which is a big issue in most parts of Lower Kiambu. It is very possible that some places will turn to concrete slums. Quite unfortunate if the rate of population growth continues. Apart from the natural population growth, which results from high birth rate, these places receive a lot of people from rural areas, a problem promoted by the high rural-urban migration as people are moving in towns looking for economic opportunities. And I'm sure you have noted that we are back to Kamutiini area. I want to explore the other side for a few seconds. It seems like the new town is expanding significantly in all directions. You can see the extension is quite busy with small traders. And that reminds me of a few legends that hails from this place. And leading the list is one Mwangi Zakayo, who is an artist, a Kikuyu artist, and a preacher too. In fact, I'm told that his church is still in this area, and it seems like the future of the town is on this side. There is more room for growth, although the county government should do something about these roads. You can see nice apartments are coming up everywhere. And that takes us to the rent segment, as renting is a big option here due to the high prices of land. And to get a 2-bedroom apartment, you'll need between 15,000 Kenya shillings and 20K, which is between 110 to 220 US dollars for those watching us from outside the country. And a good bed sitter, you can call it a studio apartment, goes from 6,000 Kenya shillings, which is about 45 US dollars per month, depending on its location. Of course, houses near the main road are quite expensive. And as you can see, I'm approaching our second town, which is only a short distance from our first one. And it goes by the name Kabete Shopping Center. One part of the town is in Lower County, but the bigger part is in Kiambu County. And I want to sample this very old center for a few seconds and see how everything is faring. And remember, Kabete, the name of the town, is the original name for Kiambu County. In fact, most Kikuyus, who are the majority in this area, refers to the county as Kabete even today. That's a fun fact. If you didn't know, now you are in the know. There is also another fun fact about people from Kabete, which is also a traditional Kikuyu belief, which argues that most people from this area have their eyes licked by cats. Well, I just directly translated that, which is quite proverbial. And its deeper meaning is that people from these areas are very enlightened and quite visionary too. Well, I'm told this is because they had an early encounter with the whites, the colonial masters, way before the 1900s, and they had quickly adopted some of the good cultural values from the whites, such as the formal education, as they were close to Nairobi, while the rest of the Kikuyus were in the interior part of the country. Well, I don't know whether this belief still holds water this day, and it is just a belief, so don't think too much about it. In fact, it is a fallacy, as it is something that has not been proven scientifically. It is also good to know that Nairobi University, Kabete campus, is around the corner. And that reminds me of the rate of education in the country. And the Kabete Constituency comes second in Kiambu County. In fact, it is only second from Juja. As far as the number of people with university degrees are concerned, as Kabete has 12,947 graduates, while Juja is leading with 21,710. There is also another important school that I want you to see, which is a few meters ahead, and that is the Kabete Rehabilitation School. In short, this is a jail for minors. As you know, it is illegal to jail a minor in the normal prisons, and so they are brought here after sentencing from a court of law, and therefore you are more likely to find the most notorious boys in the country here. I hope the dogs have nothing to do with it. And let me leave you with this fun fact. Did you know that minors don't commit crime? Yeah, it's called juvenile delinquency. Just a fun fact to jog your mind a little bit. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for watching this far. And if you have not yet subscribed, show some love by hitting the red button. It's absolutely free. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible. And smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you'll be among the first few people to be notified. Also keep the conversation going on the comment section down below. Tell us what do you think about today's video. Would you consider living in Kingero and Lower Kabete areas? Have you ever visited the area? Just drop a fact or two. Thank you.